welcome to another set of notes for K. Harris's Physical Science. All right, so we're still talking about heat. This is notes 4C. This up here is the quick review for the last set of notes that we did, notes 4B. So please pause a minute, use the word bank to fill that in, and then come back. Welcome back. Here we go. This infographic shows that as heat energy increases, temperature also increases. In addition, we can see that once a phase, aka state of matter change, occurs, the temperature remains the same as the molecular action of melting and boiling as heat increases, or condensation and freezing as heat decreases occur and continues to stay the same until all of the particles in the sample have gone through that action. Pause it, make sure you got it. I'm clearing it and moving on. All right, so the methods of heat transfer. There are three ways in which heat is transferred. We already know the definition of heat is the transfer of thermal energy from one object to another. So now we're going to talk about how that transfer can happen. So in the What's Up Duck video, we had our three things we did with our hands. We had conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction, convection, and radiation. And that's supposed to help us remember these three. Conduction is the direct transfer of heat without the matter having to move. It's when the two objects are touching. So anytime the two objects touch, and that's how heat is transferred. So burning your forehead on a curling iron or on a hot pan, burning arm on a hot pan, burning your feet on hot sand, that's conduction. Frying an egg, frying a steak, anything that you fry and you put the object directly on the hot frying pan, that's conduction. Convection is circulation, so it's the transfer of energy due to circulation or movement within the substance. Now, the substance does have to be a fluid, but fluid isn't just liquid. Fluid is a liquid or a gas. Fluid just means anything that has particles that can flow. And we know that both liquid particles and gas particles can flow, so they are both considered fluid. So fluid dynamics studies both liquids and gases. So convection happens in liquids and in gases. This circular movement can be due to gravity or due to the natural rising of hot molecules and falling of cooler ones. So wind is created when the uneven heating of the land and the water makes that hot air rise, and the cool air comes in to replace it. The convection currents under the earth that makes us have volcanoes and earthquakes. When we have a hot spring, there's usually hot water being fed in from just one point way down in the bottom, but the whole thing heats. Your hot water heater heats all of the water through just one element. Heating a room, you heat the whole room from just heat coming from one place. And then radiation is the transfer of energy through electromagnetic waves. Literally just, you can feel the heat baking off of something, when you can feel the heat coming off of the sidewalk without touching it, when you can feel the heat coming off of a fire without having to touch the flame. The heat radiates as waves from the hotter object and are absorbed by the cooler object. So the sun radiates heat to us. A fire radiates heat to us. Like I said, the hot asphalt radiates heat up, and that's where we get those mirages from as you're driving down the road and you see those places where it looks like the road's wet. That's because heat is radiating off of the road, and it's making the molecules a different density right above the road, and it makes it, that's where mirages come from. All right, Make sure you got that. Pause it if you don't. I'm moving on. All right, so down here at the bottom, we're just going to fill in our little chart to help us remember. So we have what our three methods are, right? So we've got conduction, convection, and radiation. So definition for conduction, touch. It's when the two objects touch. Convection is circulation, and radiation is waves. We're going to draw some arrows to show what happens with these. So conduction is when the two things are touching. So there's this direct back and forth. Convection occurs in these circular kind of motions, and radiation occurs in waves. Our silly action is to clap. Our silly action is to do finger circles, and our silly action is to do hand waves. All right, I want you to listen to the directions and then pause and do this, and then come back and check and make sure if you got it right. So I want you to circle it. No. I want you to underline it if it's conduction. I want you to circle it if it's convection, and I want a squiggly line if it's radiation. All right, so pause. Read these, do that, and then come back and see if you're right. All right, here we go. A metal spoon in a pot of hot water is touching. So that would be conduction. A greenhouse is convection and radiation because you've got the hot sun being trapped from radiation, and then it's circulating through, so that's convection. A fireplace is mostly radiation. You could also do convection because that's how it heats the whole room. Laying in the sun is definitely radiation. Boiling water is convection. It's that circulation of heat. Frying an egg, conduction. It's directly touching the pan. Putting wet shoes over the heat vent to dry is radiation and convection because you're getting both circulation and radiation. And using an electric blanket, that thing is touching you. That's conduction. All right. Woo, we did it. Have a lovely day. Make good decisions. Bye.